Alright, so we got something to talk about today. So if you weren't aware, last weekend we had Arena Championship 4 and the winner was Shinya Saito. And he won with the Is It Wizard deck facing a Demir control deck. So congratulations to him. But that's not really what I'm trying to talk about here, and that's because of the card rebalances that is going to be coming tomorrow as a result of the tournament and the metagame in Historic and Alchemy. So, funny thing is, this One Ring should be, the image of this One Ring should be down here, and the Orcish Bowmaster should be up here. But anyways, let's talk about the changes real quick. Orcish Bowmaster now lost the Enter the Battlefield ability effect. Now that is kind of huge. I'm not gonna lie. That is almost to the point that it makes this card unplayable. And why is that? Because a lot of the decks use Orcish Bowmaster as a removal, but now the card itself has kind of lost that identity as a removal spell and rather a niche sideboard card at best against like a blue-white control deck. So this is huge because it doesn't create a body as soon as it comes down. If it got nerfed, if the Orcish Bowmaster got nerfed, let me just zoom in a bit. If the Orcish Bowmaster got nerfed so that it only lost the 1 damage when it came down and still made a body, I think it would still be playable in a lot of the decks, but now that it doesn't have that 1 damage ping when it comes down means that it's now bad in a deck that likes to go wide, such as Yagamoth decks, bad in the Samwise Gamgee decks, and etc., right? And it's also really bad as a blocker. When an opponent attacks, usually you flash in an Orcish Bowmaster to deal 3 damage to something if you wanted to double block. But now that option is just gone. You can't even double block. It only blocks for 1. So yeah, this nerf is really bad. But on the bright side, this is actually going to open up a whole new world to the Historic metagame. And that is because, one, the first thing that comes to mind is Crucius being a playable card again. So Crucius got heavily nerfed to a 3-1, meaning that the release of Orcish Bowmaster meant that Crucius was no longer playable. But now, despite the nerf, Crucius is now a playable card. So Rakdos players rejoice, Crucius is finally back. Also human decks, right? Crucius is also back in there as well. And speaking of human decks, now Esper Sentinel is entirely playable, even in Affinity. And Affinity might also be back as well. Because of the Orcish Bowmaster, a lot of the X1 creatures have been kind of diminished or just extinct out of the metagame as of recent. But you might actually see, because of this Orcish Bowmaster ban, you'll see more variety of decks in Historic as a result. Not every deck has to play a black just to splash Orcish Bowmaster. So I think this is a good change. But another thing that you have to worry about is now Mono Green Devotion can play a Land Werewolf in their deck. Same with the elves. So that is kind of scary. So I think that's gonna be it for the Orcish Bowmaster. And I want to talk a bit about the One Ring. Not as much as the Bowmaster. Contrary to what other people believed, I strongly believe that Orcish Bowmaster warped the format more than the One Ring did. You usually saw One Ring in some sort of mid-range decks such as Jund, Rakdos, things like that. But other than that, it saw some play in some Paradox combo decks. It saw play in some control decks, but the life loss was too much. They stopped playing the One Ring. And it did see some play in some variants of combo decks such as Kethis decks and Yagamoth decks, but not to the extent that Orcish Bowmaster accomplished, where every deck in the format was splashing black and removing draw cards other than the One Ring or banning X1 creatures, right? Orcish Bowmaster completely warped the format. Mono Green Devotion had to pivot towards not playing any creatures on turn 1. Affinity decks disappeared. Ninja decks are played less. Human decks were banned. Like this card was something else. One Ring didn't accomplish that, right? One Ring, the meta game kind of stayed the same. If the Bowmaster wasn't in the format, the One Ring would have probably just made everybody just play a few copies of One Ring at best, and had some sideboard cards to get rid of the One Ring. But nonetheless, it was still a powerful card, and because of that, this card did get nerfed. And if you want to draw a card with the One Ring from now, you have to pay an extra tax, and that's you have to pay 1 mana to tap the One Ring. And I don't think this actually matters too much. The only nerf to this I can see is that the moment it comes down, you won't be able to draw. And in mono green, especially if you have Kiora on top of the One Ring, you can't just go draw, Kiora tap, draw, but they might still be able to because of Nykthos mana. So it's not a huge nerf. Like, this is a perfectly playable card compared to the Orcish Bowmaster, and it's still powerful. This is a really powerful card still. So you're still gonna see One Ring. You're still gonna want some sideboard cards in the sideboard. Orcish Bowmaster, on the other hand, not so much. But yeah, that was my thoughts video on this arena announcement. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, as always, leave a like, comment below, subscribe. And I'll be doing more historic videos in the upcoming future. I don't see myself playing Explorer anytime soon. So if you guys are into that, make sure you stick around, and I'll see you guys all later. Bye-bye.